TwinCity Firewood. Thank y'all for coming. I appreciate your time spending with us. I know there's a ton of other videos out there that you could have clicked on, so I'm flattered that you chose this one. And I hope you'll stay with us, because I've got something that I think is pretty cool. And if you're watching this video, you might agree. So y'all stay with me. So I normally don't, well, I don't know if I've ever done a video where I was driving and talking or videoing at the same time. So I'm doing this because one thing, I'm short on time. I'm on the way to make a delivery to my restaurant customer, my main restaurant customer. Another thing is my wife doesn't believe I can multitask. So here is some evidence that I can give her. So woman, if you ever watch this, here you go. So a couple months ago, my backup camera on my truck went out on me. I went without it for a few weeks. And any of y'all that have a backup camera on your truck, you know how handy it is. It's one of those things that if you don't have one, you don't know what you're missing, you know. And my daddy, he's got a couple trucks, and I've mentioned it to him, and he does just fine without a backup camera, but I don't think he knows what he's missing, you know. And sometimes that's better. Sometimes it's better not to know no better, you know. So I ended up replacing the camera on my truck. The factory camera was very expensive. Found one off Amazon, $40. Got it going, wasn't no trouble. So I'm saying all that to say this, it got me to thinking, there has been a bunch of times I would have liked to have a camera on the back of my dump trailer. And this restaurant delivery I'm headed to is one of those places. I ended up getting out of the truck. A lot of times it's at nighttime, I can't see. I end up getting out of the truck a couple times to make sure I'm close enough. And I was talking to Mike from ANY Firewood about this. I was telling him, I said, man, I wonder if I could just put my camera on the back of, put a action camera on the back of my trailer, and it would help me back up. And we talked about it. I was like, yeah, that's a pretty good idea. Never thought of it. And a couple weeks later, I get an email wanting to know if I'd be interested in this camera. And I normally turn down these offers, not like I'm some big YouTube guy. You know I'm not. I'm just a wannabe. I don't have any interest in taking any of these offers unless it's something that I can use or I feel like y'all would be interested. I looked it up. I asked her to send me a link, and I think it's pretty cool. So I've used it a few times. It can be mounted to your license plate on your truck or your camper or your dump trailer. It's also solar. It has a solar panel. It can charge while you have it mounted. I thought it could be mounted magnetically. It can't, or at least I can't figure out how to do it. So I bought some magnets, and I'll put a link in the description on this video. I'll put a picture up here too. $10 for like half a dozen magnets. They're plenty stout. They're bolt-on, rubber-coated magnets. And so I slapped them on this plate, and it works great. It's got a 40-foot range on it. I hadn't had any trouble hooking it up. I'm just a small-time firewood guy. I'm in a very rural area. The town I'm from is, I want to say, 2,200 people in it, but I do have some larger towns within about 15 miles of me, and those are our target. But in the years past, I'd say about half of my sales were for barbecue smoking wood, restaurant, food truck, your backyard barbecue type people. This year has been different. I haven't put an ad up on Facebook Marketplace once, and I won't have to. I had one of my customers that I've been selling to for over a year. He opened up his own brick and mortar restaurant, and that's where I'm headed to now. And he is killing it. He is doing great, which is, I'm tickled to death for him. He's great to deal with, and his little restaurant is doing great. He is actually, any of y'all, I'm sure some of y'all out there have seen Stale Cracker. Mike, who I'm delivering to, his buddies with stale cracker. He's even been down there and drank from the infinity barrel. If you've ever seen stale cracker, his favorite is red oak. He'll burn other species, but he mainly likes red oak. He'll burn white oak. He likes cherry some. He doesn't much. He's not big on pecan and hickory. But the deal is, I take him a half a cord every other week, and I can stay, the inventory that I have, I can stay ahead of him at least 8 months split. I'm ahead more than that now, which I'm glad of. But so he wanted pretty much all my oak inventory that he can burn, and I sold out pretty quick of my other species of wood. The drawback to that is I've had to tell quite a few customers that I'm sorry, I just don't have anything seasoned. So, you know, I know there's a lot of people out there, and a lot of these channels I respect. They know way more than I do about firewood. But I know my situation, and I'm just going to try not to stress over keeping up. I'm going to do what I can, when I can, and try to keep what's most important first, and still try to keep up, you know, best I can without excuse me, I'm having trouble multitasking. Without missing out on what's more important, family stuff and church stuff and things like that. So I used to have a restaurant, and he went through way more wood, and I had to let him go. He was great to deal with, pleasure to deal with, but I just couldn't keep up with the amount of wood that he went through. Just parted ways, no hard feelings. But I've learned to say no sometimes, and try to be wiser about obligations. You know, as I get older, I'm not good at it, but I'm trying to get better at it. And this restaurant deal is working out pretty good. I think Mike, he's the one that owns this restaurant I'm headed to now. I think he's pretty pleased. I know he is. And you know, maybe Lord willing, one day I can produce more. Maybe when my boys or kids get a little older, and that'd be fine. But that's not my goal. You know, this is just a side hustle. What I'm trying to get at is normally I'm just slam full of deliveries, and I sell out quick. And we start getting rain this time of year, and I get into hunting season, and I stress out about trying to keep up with deliveries. I end up taking off work to try to keep up. And I'm liking this steady deal with the restaurant, and still selling to other people, you know. I've lost a few, but I don't feel like I've lost them forever. You know, I feel like they'll come back, and hopefully I can accommodate them. But I really like this steady. I think that's the way to go. It's worked out well. And so anyways, let me know if any of y'all have had any similar dealings. And I know some of y'all are just volume and crank it out, and I think that's great. I would like to produce more. I wish I had more time, but I need to watch it, because I'll be honest with y'all, like, I'm one of those, I like to set goals. I'm not trying to put myself out there as an overachiever, but I don't like to set goals for myself with firewood, because I've got quite a few other obligations. Not trying to sound important, but I just do, and I don't want to disappoint myself. I don't want to set a goal that I'm going to have trouble meeting, or I can meet, but there's always a trade-off with everything, you know what I mean? So I'm going to have to take away from something I probably should be more likely be doing than producing firewood. So some of y'all might agree, some of you might disagree. That's fine. I'm not one of those gets my feelings hurt over somebody that doesn't agree with me. But there is a quote. Any of y'all that have watched this channel before, and thank y'all for doing so. Any of y'all that are new, thank y'all for checking in on us. I hope you'll stick around. But any of y'all that have watched before, you know I like to include a quote. I've got a library full of quotes that just sort of thump me in the head and speak to me. And there's one that I'm come to think of right now by Francis Chan, and I'm going to get it wrong. I'll try to put the correct version up here in the video, but more or less it says something about my greatest fear in life is to succeed in things in life that didn't really matter. Like I said, I muddied that up, but it's somewhere along those lines. Sorry for all the rambling. Sorry for all the talking. I hope I didn't lose you, and thank you for listening to me. I just wanted to show y'all how this camera picks up without any security lights or any ambient light around. You can just touch the side of the screen. I told y'all you push the button on the cigarette lighter, but you just touch the side of the screen and it'll come on. That's in reverse. So my dump trailer it has these backup lights that actually do have a little bit of reverse lights. It's not much. It's common for dump trailers to have that. And look how good you can see. And like I said, there's no ambient light, there's no security lights down here to help with that. About the reversing time, I did change it to 120 seconds because I am below average backer. I need all the time I can get, I guess. So what that means is that's how many seconds before the screen goes black again. Forgot to mention, and I wanted to show you how this camera rotates way up, way down. Also, it rode about 25 miles on the back of my trailer on a 4-lane going about 70 miles an hour part of the time. So it rode pretty good. Those magnets, I just put 2 of them on there and they did a fine job. If you made it through that whole speech, thank y'all. You some loyal people. I hope it wasn't too boring. Hope it was a little interesting for you. Right now, the recording of this video is just a few days away from Thanksgiving. I hope y'all have a good one. I hope you enjoy it. And I hope that each one of y'all are blessed. And I'm going to try to be a blessing to somebody. My wife may say different. Sometimes maybe. Maybe I can be. See y'all. Thank you again. And see y'all.